Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here today with Luke and Rich, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Luke's ability to understand and respond to his formal on-leash obedience commands. The little tiny corrections and lots of motivations that we give Luke when we're working with him, and the training equipment that we're using. Rich is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves his left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and Luke really needs very little correction, but the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar, and that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. You're going to be introduced to that training equipment and taught how to use it during your follow-up training session tomorrow. You're not new at this. Since we've trained another dog for you, not much has changed. Luke is sitting very nicely at Rich's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Luke, heel.
Luke, heel.
Now Luke can do these commands outdoors as well as indoors. We just don't have a choice today because it's so wet and sloppy outside that we have to do it indoors. So heeling is nothing more than proper leash walking, focusing on you, staying even with your left leg, and when you stop your feet, he sits automatically to wait for his next command. And he's a little bit of a nervous guy. He's been very sheltered, as we all know, and so everything is very new to him, and he can get a little nervous. But we just work right through it and keep on going. Nice automatic sit. Now the next command is the sit stay. Stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. You can practice these exercises obviously indoors as well as outdoors. It's good quality time to spend with him, and when Rich returns back to him, he just walks back to his shoulders where they started. He praises him for a good job, and they're going to take off heeling again. You don't need a large area to practice, and it gives him something to do with what's between his ears, which has never been exercised before. And he's smart. He's picked up all these things even at 6 years old. And people often ask me that, can you train a dog that's 6 or 7? And yes, you can. This time, instead of returning back to him, Rich is going to demonstrate the come on command. So you're going to use his name, and he comes right in front of you. He laid down rather than sitting, but at least he's not putting his front feet on you. No jumping on you. His automatic sits are perfect. Rich will leave him in another sit stay when he gets there and demonstrate that come on command again.
Stay.
He leaves him in a sit stay. This time he does use his name, and he lightens his tone of voice. And he guides him in with his leash, and he comes right in and sits. Good boy. Rich coaxes him up. So like I said, he really doesn't need any correction. He needs motivation. Now the next command that we're going to demonstrate for you is the down from a heel position. So with him seated at your left, left open palm straight down toward the ground, the one-word command to down and then stay. And I would be willing to guess that within a week or so you're going to be doing a lot of these commands with the leash just dragging. Rich returns back to his shoulders, praises him for a good job, and then he heels him out of that because everything starts and stops at that heel position. And we have used a crate with him as well. He's not crazy about being crated because I don't think he ever was at home before, but he can be.
Down. Stay.
So if you need to take your time. Now Rich just left him in a downstay with the leash dropped on the floor.
Stay.
So I think if you want or need to use a crate at home with him, you'll be fine. While you're getting the dogs introduced to each other, you can separate them if need be.
Luke, come. Good boy.
Rich calls him in and he sits. His eye contact is really good.
Boy.
And the next command that we're going to demonstrate for you will be his down from a distance. And of course, heeling is much better outside because you have more room.
Now, Luke, heel. Come on. Come on this way. Stay.
Rich leaves him in a sit stay and turns to face him. This is the only time that you're going to use your right hand to give the command, and he goes into a down from about 5 feet away at least. So he's a really, really, really nice dog. I think that he's, you know, this has been a lot for him with his owner's passing and all of that, and being in a new environment and not just being fed treats all day, but asked to put his mind in gear. That's all been new to him, but he's done a really, really, really good job. We're really proud of little Luke. I know you're going to be happy to see him. And we want to thank you again for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company.